Nowhere else in the surfing world can you risk your life as often. And leading the charge at Second Reef Pipeline is Brian Bulkley.
Yeah, I started surfing when I was 8, so I'm 53, 45 years ago. Brother tried to drown me at age 8 out in Newport Beach. It was about a 9/8, 50-pound, maybe 60-pound longboard, and I curled up on my neck and swallowed a bunch of water and said, I'm not going to surf, And then I tried it started raft surfing and playing around Laguna Beach and learned how to stand up on these hard rubber rafts. I was like just turned 12, and that's when I really started getting the feel of what it's like to ride a wave, even on a raft. We rode these things in a hard-to-ride shore break, and so when we progressed to a longboard, it was easy. Of course, you had the McTavish-style big V bottoms, and that was my first attempt at a board, was cutting my brother's 10.3 down to a 7.2, just by cutting the tail into a big diamond and then shaping about 2 feet of the tail into a V and sticking a big Greeno single fin, a long flex fin on it. And I rode that for a while. Of course, it didn't work that great, but compared to a longboard, it was radical, But that was kind of the beginning. I was hooked, and some friends and whatnot. We traded shaping and glassing and, doing all the stuff. And then Court says, hey, we're going to trade off with the planer. And I thought, not interested. I did my own boards. I love your boards. It's, I'm having fun. He goes, next time you get a board, we're going to trade off with a planer. And I got in there, and he's like, hands me the planer, and probably biggest mistake he ever made, because I just loved it. I thought, okay, this is fun. Made my own pipeline board. Now this is, and he helped me with a few boards, and then after that, he couldn't get me out of a shaping room. I got there 73. I think it was 73 4 winter, and because I was never considered myself a pro surfer at all, I was a very average surfer. I got into surfing, doing a bottom turn and standing there and getting in the tube. That really didn't take a lot of talent. Maybe, screw loose, for some guys, but I guess I had a desire there that I wasn't aware of until I got my first wave at pipe, which I can remember very well. And I was hooked. That's all there was to it. That's all I thought about from that point on. All I did was think about pipeline for a long time. 10 years before I left. For a few years I came back and did it another few more years, It's like 15 years of that or something. But lived right in front of it. Lopez, my neighbor, and other big guys over here. And, jumping off the wall and going, first one's mine, and him running back in the house like a kid and grabbing his board. And, being the first guys out was just the coolest thing, And I remember putting quad on my 7/8 pipe gun and coming out of the barrel like a shot out of a cannon, I just go, oh my God, there's definitely something to this, But the fins are a little too big and the rocker, I don't know if it was right, and V-bottoms and all, but, I definitely saw something there. I switched to quads. I went all quad on everything, and I got, in Pipe Masters, 7th place or whatever on quads. No one was riding quads, except for an Australian guy that brought him over. It was Glenn Winton. Thank you. You deserve it. He needs to be mentioned because he got that thing fired up, and I was full bore quad for a long time. Well, how long did that last? Year and a half, maybe 2 years max, before it all got blown out of the water with a bunch of lousy quads, that people made. And when you get a bad one, you go back to something else, Not everyone will try it twice, They're spending money on a surfboard. So I think we lost a lot of time there. We could have been working on the quad this whole time and had it so dialed by now, All different ideas came into play, threw in a blender, and who knows what was coming out of that era. This last 10 years has been great. It's very years of experimentation, and it's been great to put modern day bottoms in with quads, and they were faster and looser without the tail fin. To me, it's just a better thruster, the way they feel to me. And the performance ones, of course, you know, there's retro styles, there's all different styles, and they're all good for something, you know, different strokes, whatever.
This shot of Brian Bulkley, filmed at normal speed, shows that on a 30-foot drop, it can take a good 10 seconds just to reach the bottom of the wave. Big wave riding is a hard thing to describe to someone who has only experienced large waves once or twice a year at their home break. Just standing on the beach watching monster waves can give you a terrible case of the butterflies. To these unsuspecting visitors, surfing the size and power of Sunset or Pipeline quickly becomes a survival situation.